What's up, it's Jim from Teknovault, and in this video I'm going to talk about hard techno screeches. So if you don't know anything about screeches, after this video you will know everything, 100% from scratch. I grabbed the screech loop and kick loop from our hard techno pack and it sounds like this. This is a very simple one, it's very detuned. I'm gonna make a bunch of different screeches and then you'll understand what to do if you wanna go in different directions. So yeah, before I dive into it, make sure to join our Discord server with the link below with a bunch of giveaways, freebies, and you can connect with like-minded producers that make techno just like you. I opened Serum, and in Serum, we're gonna use this to create a bunch of screeches. So you can use Vital as well, Silent One. You just kind of have to replicate the same things because every VST comes with an oscillator, with an FM knob or whatever, you know, so try to duplicate that, but if you have Serum, great. Let's put it on mono. And the first thing I always do is just start with a saw wave. And the first thing you can do when you're making screeches is add detune. So here is how you control the detune. Now you already get a very detuned sound, which is nice and it's very simple. But before I go and show you all the other dope stuff that you can use to create screeches, I'm first gonna process it as well. Because here's the thing, this in itself could be a screech, and I know you guys wouldn't be happy if I stopped the tutorial here because I only moved 2 knobs. So let me first add some processing and then we'll get into other screeches, because simple sounds will still work as screeches, but the processing gets it to the next level. So the first thing I always add is a compressor to make it very nice and snappy, as you can hear. So the more you take down the threshold, or like increase it, but obviously it's like taking down the threshold to a lower decibel, the more snappy it gets. So you also have the option to use multiband, and then you just need to move the other way around. And then it gets very like modern and very digital, and I don't really like it. So for now, let's keep it like this. Something I always add as well is distortion. And in this case, it's a soft clipper, because I don't want to blow up the sound, which is what we're going to do later. Then I want to add an EQ to get rid of that bass. And then we're going to add reverb and delay. So the delay, you could put it on, what I really like for screeches is 1-4, 1-2, and just kind of hover it around the mids, put it on ping pong, and then you get this. Finally, add some reverb, and for this one, add the mix around this. I like the hall reverb the most because it's just a little bit cleaner than plate reverb. And then I like to add that in front of the compressor to kind of give that ducking feeling. See what happens. Low cut. So this is how you would process a screech. Distortion, reverb, delay, compression, make sure it's clean with the bass. That's kind of the setup we're going for. So now let's get into the other stuff that really gets to the next level and allows you to make a lot of different screeches. So the first thing I always focus on is detune. So as you see, I already use this. And this gives you a bunch of different ones. This is one. 5 levels of screech, basically. Then you can play around with the detune combined with the randomized phase. So right now, if I click, it might start here, and I click again, it starts there, and it starts there, and basically the waveform starts at different points. If I take down the randomization, it always starts at the place where I put the phase, like this. And if you then play around with detune, you get different results, because listen up. Right here, it's a little bit... sounds like it's a laser, but you get really nice results here. It kind of blows up the saw, but it's not good for screeches. But, you know, just so you know, you take this down and put it here. You get a very analog, warm saw. If I open it up and maybe increase the randomization a bit, I can get these old school type detunes. And that's something that is really handy because you want to have that old school analog feeling opposed to the digital because it's techno. So you can also go to analog wave shapes and take the MCB right here, and it makes it a little bit more analog as well. So let's keep it around this range because I like it. The second thing you can do to also play around with detune, we're going to focus up on detune first, is open the noise oscillator, take down the level, make sure you have something like AC hum or an ARP circuit just so it's white noise. FM this from the noise oscillator and then you get this. Very aggressively, it's like that. I'm going to do AC hum again. Let's see what happens there. You can really hear it if I take down the detune. This is a screech as well, without adding the detune. Or a little bit detune. Let's keep it very wide like this. So now you have FM noise and you have the detune going on, and that's really cool. Another thing you can do is open the BPM here and add it to the fine tune. So let's take down the detune and the FM of the noise, and then we get from this to this. And that's kind of a screech as well. So then the unison opens up. This opens up and you get a really cool screech too. The final thing you can do is go to the coarse pitch right here, mod source it to chaos 1. And in chaos 1, you just want to make sure in global, you can find it here. Turn up the rate all the way or something like this and just control the amount. So let's take down the detune again, this one, as well as LFO 1. And then we get this. Very aggressive. It's really cool. And combine that with this and with the detune and with this one, you get an insane screech because you combine all these detunes. Take down the coarse pitch a little bit because I don't want it too aggressive. So the second part in screech is the pitch. So something you want to do is determine what type of screech you want. So you can first add an attack just by going envelope 2, matrix, and you want the whole plugin to go through pitch automation. So envelope 2 goes to the global master tune of the whole plugin. Type in 12 semitones or type in 24 semitones. And so it stays in key and in pitch. Nice. You can also reverse this effect by typing -24, obviously. If you want to have a pitchy attack. I'm just going to use +24 instead. And now you can play around with the shape. So a screech that's very often done is like this. It's kind of like a stab. Like the wow, wow, wow. Then you can play around with the unison again. See what happens? What you can also do is increase the decay and make it look like this, and then you get this screech. And why I added the processing is because of this. You can hear it's a screech, but it's much better if you have all this stuff going on and you're like, whoa, that's clean, you know? So now we have the detune part down and we have the pitch part down because you know all these pitch shapes as well. So the second thing I do then is go into the FM. So instead of FMing from noise, we're going to FM from B. And you can get to choose, first of all, do this. So let's get rid of this effect so you can just hear what's going on. And you can add envelope 2 to this as well. So it's kind of moving. You can then play around with this amount, but as well as with the octave of this waveform. Then you get to play around with the spectral wave shapes as well. And if I then add detune and I also add this one, you get different effects, you know? So we've now played around with the FM as well. Let's keep the noise because I like the noise. The fourth thing you can do is add filters. So in this case, we're going to work on filters. And the most simple filters you can use are band passes like this, bandpass 12, or you can use the band 12 or 24 here. And then you can maybe add LFO2 on a half bar. And then you get this kind of like filtered screech. But what you probably are looking for is more of this sound. And that's where the distortion comes into play. So the first level is detune, second level is pitch, third level is FMing from another waveform, and the fourth level is filters plus distortion. So if you add a pre-filter like this and add a bunch of distortion, the more resonance and the more distortion and the more you focus on the mid-range, the more it's gonna go extremely raw, you know? Something you can do is also map the velocity to the cutoff. So then if you create a pattern like this, you could have a few of these notes just go lower and then you get a move in like, you know what I mean? So it's going to move the filter band based on the velocity, which gives you a little bit of control, which is pretty cool. All this combined allows you to create a ton of screeches. So let me just demonstrate, okay? So here's our first one. Obviously, we have that down. So then the second one could be this one. No filters. Then we have another one and we can have it go like this. And now we can get another screech. And then we can make another screech. And in this case, I'm going to use FM from B. And then we're not going to use a lot of that master tune stuff. We're going to use a... You know what I mean? So as you can see, there's so many routes you can go just based on detune, pitching, FMing, filters, distortion, and then processing it. Make sure to join our server. It's free and it's dope. So join it, link in bio. Get this template for free on our website. I hope you enjoyed it. You learned something. If you do, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching and have a really nice day. Cheers.